All right, this hangout is live on air. Hello, Google.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
So, I'm Thomas Hawk. We have Laurie Rubin with us today from Mac Fun Software, former Google Photos as well, and Daniel Krieger, Mr. Mingus's better half. Right? Where is that cat, Smoothie?
He's actually right here. He might jump up and join in the Google chat.
I hope he does. I hope he does. So, for people that are watching this live, this hangout today is basically about social media, and we're talking about social media and photography, and really how to maximize your exposure through social media. And I've been online sharing my photography for a long time. I know, Daniel, you have as well, and Laura, you too. And so today the idea, I think, is just kind of chat amongst ourselves. We'll also take questions from the audience. On the Hangout app, if you're watching live, there's a way to ask questions, or there should be. And if you want to post a question, you can post that, and we'll try to address those as well. So, starting out, Smoothie, what do you do for social media?
I use a lot of different websites for social media. I guess I started on Flickr. That was my real original one. That's where I used to share my images and kind of started as a photographer. And then moving from there to right now, I guess I mostly use Instagram. That's my main one. But I try to post a photo every day or every other day to a bunch of different websites, including 500 pics. I use Google Plus a fair amount, and then I use Facebook a lot, and I still post to Flickr, but not as much anymore. A lot of it is all through Instagram. So what I do is I love the fact that Instagram allows you to post an image and then also post it to Facebook and post it to Flickr, and it kind of, then you can just post one photo and it gets to all the different my social media outlets.
So you use Instagram really right now as your primary social media outlet, and then from Instagram you feed that same photos into Flickr, into Twitter, into other places.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Twitter as well.
Instagram seems like it's like the biggest thing ever in social photography.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I was just talking with someone at Instagram a couple days ago, and we were talking about the fact that people don't like being limited on Twitter. You can only do so many characters, but the nice thing about Instagram is if you want to say something a little bit longer, you can say it. So regardless of what your photo you're posting, if you have something that you want to say that's a couple paragraphs long, you can just use Instagram, and you don't have to use Twitter. So Twitter's kind of limiting, and I think Instagram's growing at a much faster pace right now than Twitter. So I've been seeing articles about like the death of Twitter, starting to pop up.
It seems like one thing that I notice about Instagram, and noticed from pretty early on, is you post something on there and it's just like immediate. You get
Right.
immediate response to that. It's almost within seconds.
I feel like so many people are just checking their Instagram feeds. I see people checking it just when I'm out. It's just that people. I mean, people still are obviously checking their fitter. That should be a new one. Their Twitter stream, but yeah, people are just constantly on it and checking it, and it's just, I don't know. The interface is just so clean and easy to use. It took me a while to. And there's still things I don't know how to do on Twitter, but Instagram, it was pretty instantly. You're just like, all right, this is how this works, and it's just easy.
Yeah, yeah. So, in terms of your other sites, though, I mean, do you still go on them? Are you on them there?
Yeah, I mean, I try to, depending how much time I have. If I have a bunch of shoots in like a day, and I get home really late, I'm probably not gonna post to anything, because I try not to post anything past say 11 o'clock. I feel like the audience that I have kind of starts to die out after say like 9 p.m. So like if I have a long day of like photography and I get home late, I'm probably not going to be posting much. But if I'm home editing and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning and then it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm probably posting stuff to all those different websites that I said. 500. What do you say? 500 pics or 500 px? What do people? I don't even know what the proper.
I usually say 500 px myself, but
500 px, yeah. So 500 px. I love the interface of 500 px. I think it's. I think the photos are big and beautiful, and it's very clean and simple. Flickr was always more social for me, but like just the way that the images look, I think they're just cooler looking on 500 px. And then Google Plus, I'll post to every couple days as well. And then, Facebook I use as a personal thing, but also for social networking, social media. I'll post, a lot of my work images and like a little description of what I'm posting there.
Are there other sites that you use?
Besides Instagram and those ones, what else is there? I don't use SmugMug. Not that I have anything against it, and I know Ivan.
Sure.
It's just, you can only use like 10 different social networking sites, and then it becomes a little much. I don't know, what else am I forgetting? What else is there that you use?
Well, I tell you, my philosophy with social media has always been to get involved with absolutely everything. And I do that for a couple of reasons. So, I will get on absolutely every single possible social site you can get on. I've got an account on MySpace even still.
I don't use MySpace anymore, but I probably still have that account up there, sure.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But whether it's Quora or whether it's Vimeo or whether it's, I think all of the sites, even whether you use them or not. I think that does a couple of things for you. One of the things I try to do is I try to take all my profile pages and really sort of condense them to say the same thing and include links to all my other major pages that I use on every site. So if you go to my Flickr profile, it's going to have links to my Google Plus, and it's going to have links to my Facebook and links to my Instagram. If you go to my Facebook page, it's going to have links back. And so I think that one advice that I give people is every single site, just try to get on as early as you can, even if you don't think you're going to use it.
Right. Yeah.
Because you never know. And sometimes getting on a site early, like, I was on Flickr during the first year that they launched, and, I was on Google Plus within the first hour that they opened to the public. And I think sometimes if you can get on these sites early before everybody else, that's when you can start to gain some momentum and build an audience. And that's where I think I really missed the boat with Instagram, because I was using Android and they didn't have an Android version, and so I just kind of never got hooked up with that.
Right. I totally agree. Well, for me, like Instagram, I joined up really early, but then I didn't use it. I was just posting like crappy photos of my cat or whatever was happening around me. But then what happened was I started seeing some friends of mine, like Sam Horan and a few other people. They were getting like flown around the world to Instagram. And Alice Gow, I'm friends with, like she started getting really big, and now I don't even know what she has now, maybe like 6, 7, 800,000 followers. But they were getting all these amazing like gigs and getting flown around the world, and a bunch of these people I know I think they just went to Turkey, like, and were paid and like flew all around Turkey and had this amazing looking vacation. It was like for the like Turkey like tourism board or whatever. So I was like, oh, this is obviously really interesting, and these friends of mine are getting to do these cool things. So I started taking it more and more seriously, and then started building up a pretty good following. And I was just on the suggested user list the past couple weeks, which was amazing, and it really helped pump up my following. Should we answer one of these guys? This guy Christian just posted a question.
Yeah, we can do that. So Christian,
Laurie, I feel like we're not talking to Laurie.
That's okay. I'm letting you say what you need to say first.
Laurie's gonna give the first answer to this question.
Uh-oh.
So Christian Meerman asks, do you feel like cross-posting content is worthwhile or annoying? Should we make different content to spread across different social outlets?
Well, I'll tell you what I do is I actually post every day. and I post across Facebook, Google+, 500px, and Flickr. And I post the same content because I have different audiences in the different social media. So I feel that it's easier for me, and because it takes up a lot of your time when you have all these different social media outlets. And so that's a quicker way for me to do that, keep track of what I've posted. So that's how I personally do it. So I share the same thing.
You're posting basically the same photo to each outlet every day?
Yeah, I am.
How many times are you posting a day?
At least once, if not twice.
Once or twice?
Yeah, and I do every morning. First thing I get up is I enhance an image and I post it up there with a little bit of content. And you know, I love this social media and photography because when you post things up on social media, it kind of takes our emotional ties away from our photographs. So I like to see what photographs our audience likes. So I love to see how many likes and how many comments I get for them.
Right.
Actually, that was Thomas McGovern's question, by the way. I got the question person wrong on that. But what do you think, Smoothie?
Well, I think first of all, it's a great question, and it's something that I continually think to myself and wonder. And I kind of want the answer because it would make it easier, but like I don't know how to get the answer other than engaging my viewers and asking them a question like that. But the style of like social media that I do and my photography, I'm a professional photographer. I'm not like I don't consider myself like a public speaker or, I mean, like a social network guru like you are, Hawk.
You're pretty good at public speaking right now, though, Smoothie.
But thank you. So I don't really want to. For me, I feel like my audience wants to see. I think they want to see photography and hear less chatter from me. So I'm not a writer. I'm a photographer. So I basically just give photography and generally just give a small description of what the image is. Sometimes I just post an image and I just write Brooklyn, New York, and I don't say anything. Once in a while, I'll get a little more in depth. But anyway, the point is that I don't usually want to say too much or talk too much or bother people with questions. I just want to give them images to look at. But I do think about this a lot because I wonder when I post something to Google+, are a few hundred people going to see that same photo on my Facebook and be like, oh, I already saw that photo. I don't want to see that. I personally think that I have a different audience for all of my networks. I have some people that have been following me on Flickr for years, and they probably don't look at my stuff on Instagram, so I think it's fine to post the same image. But sometimes I'll change it up because I'll just get bored myself posting the same photo to 5 different websites in a day. So I might post a different version of a shot on Google Plus than I do on Facebook. Also for myself, I want to see which one gets more of a reaction. But it is interesting just to say, this is kind of off the topic, but just about like engagement. Flickr was like the first thing I really started using, and I used to, if I hit the explore page or I had a popular photo, it was great. I had a lot of interaction. But now it's like when I post a photo, I might get like 2 comments, 1 comment, maybe 5 or 7, 10 comments if it's a photo that hits people, or maybe it's like I don't know what their algorithm now. Maybe it is hitting a small explore page or something. But when I post to Instagram now, I can get 70 comments on a photo, which is amazing. That's and like 3,000 likes. So it's the interaction rate for me, which is an important thing because I want a response and I want to see what like my followers like. It's on Instagram. It's so much bigger. It's like night and day.
Yeah. See, I guess what I do is I do try to post different stuff to different sites at different times. So
right.
I don't like to post like the same shot to Google Plus and Facebook and Flickr and Instagram all at the same time immediately. So I might post a photo to Google Plus. I may post that same photo again to Facebook, but it might be a month later. And I think I don't worry about it too much because I think people do first of all, a lot of people are not just seeing your work on any network just because they're not online at that time when your work shows up.
Right.
And so if they may very well miss it on Google Plus and then see it on Facebook, and I think that's fine. Or they may miss it on Facebook and see it on Flickr, and I think that's fine. But I still like to spread it out a little bit. I think the point about posting every day, though, is a good one. I think a lot of photographers, they might go on a site like Flickr and they'll just sort of dump a bunch of photos, and then they won't come back for 3 weeks, and then they'll dump a bunch more, and then they won't come back. I think that to have the maximum effect on any of these sites, our work is so temporal now, and it's like it has such a short life. And when you post it, you have like a window of opportunity, maybe even of like an hour or longer, maybe, but it's maximum 24 hours.
Right.
And so I think you really do have to be posting. And so rather than posting, one shot, rather than posting 15 shots at once, I think a photographer would be better off metering those out, a couple a day over a time period, rather than doing them all at once. I think you'll get more exposure that way.
Another interesting thing I think for me, just talking about being able to post every day, is if I'm shooting with my DSLR, that means I have to come home and pull it up and download my card onto Adobe Lightroom and edit the photo and then sit at my desk and and process the image. With Instagram, I feel like I'm like an advertisement for Instagram. With Instagram, I'm shooting, at least right now, up to this point, I shoot all with my iPhone and I edit everything pretty much in Snapseed. Sometimes I use Visco.
Do you think that's important, that you do iPhone only? A lot of people, they go back and forth on that.
Yeah, it's a question that I've raised to a few other photographers and a few Instagrammers. People have different opinions. I know some of the top Instagrammers that I know, they use sometimes their DSLR and post photos like from their professional shoots or whatever. But I think originally that was the cool thing about it, is it leveled the playing field. Everyone was using an iPhone. So it's like no one was using a Hasselblad, and like everyone just had the same thing. So they were just, you were really judged on the merit of your photography. So but the nice thing is, I just always have my iPhone with me no matter what, which I actually use more as a camera than a phone, and I can just edit my photo in 5 minutes and post it right away from the place that I'm standing where I just shot that. And it's just so easy and nice, and I love it. And so I have that instant kind of gratification of being able to shoot a photo and post it, even if it's in an hour later. It's just really nice. It's nice being able to edit an image while you're like sitting in a chair or on in a train or something like that.
I think it's really great that we have different types of social media that we can share. Facebook tends to be more personal, your friends, your family. You can post, what you had for dinner, for instance. And then, for instance, Google Plus is more for those that are really passionate about something. I'm passionate about photography. And there's some things on Google Plus, for instance, communities. You can do hangouts that are really great to get people together. So I think there's really still a niche for each of these different social, communities. And I think that's great.
So there's a question from Jishnu. It says, more than engaging the fans, how much can social networking help you get clients? Daniel, you're a professional photographer. Does it have an impact?
Sorry, what was I was ignoring you.
The question is, more than engaging the fans, how much can social networking help you get the clients?
That is a really, really good question, and it's tough to answer. I think increased social network exposure is definitely going to help. Is definitely going to help you with your business and get clients a little bit. But I think you really have to be in like the top upper echelon of the social network like photographers who have a really big following. I honestly think that the most important thing is like interpersonal networking, going to the right events and meeting the right people who are in your industry for photography, and reaching out to the right people. I have a pretty good social network following on all my different platforms, but if I relied on just getting work through that, I would work much less and be much less successful than I am. The majority of my clients come to me through either previous shoots or word of mouth. I get a lot of word of mouth. I get a lot of people who email me and say, so-and-so suggested you as this photographer for this new project we're working on. Can we talk to you about it? It's not it's not so much they say, oh, we saw you on Instagram and we love your work. But a lot of times they will say, when I come to a shoot, if I haven't met the people before and I don't know them, sometimes the first thing they say is, we follow you on Instagram and we really enjoy your Instagram stream. So they know me through that, but I don't know if it's necessarily like how they found me or hired me. So it is important, but I think, say you want to be I don't know, a rock photographer. I don't know how, even if you have a huge following, I don't know how easy that's going to be. Those people who are successful at it, they're there doing it. You got to be there doing it and go to the right events, meet the right people. That's how you're getting the work, and that's how you're getting the gigs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get gigs through my work. My goal really is just to share my work as widely as possible.
Right.
And social
But
media.
you get work coming to you through your social networking things, but I mean.
Yeah, no, you do, and I mean, I sell a lot of stock photos and things like that. But I think from a professional standpoint, one thing that it does do is, and again, this is where I think it pays to sign up for everything. Again, is for SEO, is for Google, because people are going to Google you. I mean, people that are going to hire you, that are thinking about hiring you, potential clients, and if you go to a Google page, like if I search Thomas Hawk right now, I've got the first thing is my blog, the second thing is my Flickr, then SmugMug, then Twitter, then Google+, then 500px, then Facebook, then a feature on the Flickr blog, then an interview with Petapixel, then Pinterest. So, my first page is basically filled with Instagram, YouTube, Stocksy, all the things, different profiles, and so then you really own that footprint. And so I think for SEO purposes, and you can direct people to your work, if they're into SmugMug, great, they click on SmugMug, they see it there. If they happen to be into, Facebook, or they want to Instagram or YouTube or whatever, but everything is on there promoting you.
I think for aspiring photographers, I mean, think how great this is right now for them, being able to reach out to all these different people that before they'd have to take a portfolio to somebody and nobody would see who they are. And now you have these beautiful images that are going out to people that are then sharing and showing their friends, and so it's wonderful. I mean, I get people coming up to me sometimes, like I was out in, I'll just tell you a quick story, in the Colorado Plateau, out in the boonies, and some guy came up to me and said, "You're Laurie Rubin," and he just recognized me from my profile. He's been following me around on my wildlife images. It's crazy. I mean, that would have never have happened, a few years back. So, social media is a fantastic platform for photographers, both pros and aspiring.
Yeah. Well, Hawk, what do you think? I think this would be an interesting question. What do you think the most important one is if someone's really going to just focus in on one thing? I know you said people should sign up for everything, but what do you think the most important one is, either right now or potentially in the future?
Well, again, you're right. I do think you sign up for everything. I think right now Instagram is the hottest thing going on in social photography. I do. I think, though, Google Plus, I think, has a lot of potential. I think there's been a lot of debate lately about Google Plus and what's its future and what is it going to look like. Vic Gundotra, who ran the effort, is now no longer there. But I think one thing about Google Plus is that photography has been very, very strong there, and you get again good SEO, I think, with Google. So, I also find Google Plus can be very conversational with people. You can have conversations, and even if they're not happening on your photos, you can find conversations to have. I do see Mingus. He's a handsome boy.
He's saying hello to everybody.
Mingus
loves to shoot with a Holga. That's his favorite camera.
Do you think posting photos of cats increases your following?
It's funny. I think there's definitely a huge audience for cats. I do post once in a while. I try to, when I take a photo of him, and I post it to something, I honestly try to make it like a portrait, like make it like as good of a portrait as I would of a person. So
better than a person.
You definitely get an audience. People love looking at cats, and even on my photo stream, I get a lot of people who comment and get excited at the fact that I'm posting a cat. But I mean, it's kind of it's not really obviously my bread and butter and what what I think of as fine art, but you know, I try to take good ones when I take photos of him, but I try not to post too many photos of my cat. Just bring him on live television for Google Hangouts.
You know, one other thing I would say with social media is I see a lot of people out there that are kind of haters. You know, they'll be, oh, Facebook sucks. I hate Facebook. Facebook's awful. Or, you know, Google Plus is terrible. It's a ghost town. Nobody likes it. You know, and it seems like I've found that in general, negativity in social media is a turnoff. People don't want to see it.
You're going to get people acting negative or just feel that they want to vent and complain, and you know, and anything online. I mean, it's such an easy way for people to anonymously complain or gripe about things. But I don't know. That's the one nice thing also about Instagram. If you don't like someone, you can just block them really quick. Same thing with Google Plus, right?
Yeah.
And they just don't show up, and you just don't have to be bothered by them anymore.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer another question, Hawk?
Yeah, so let's take a look at this. This person, Caitlin Stamus, says, how do you build a larger following without hashtagging the crap out of your photos? Do you hashtag, Smoothie?
Yeah, I do sometimes. I honestly don't really know how many followers or likes or interactions or whatever I get by hashtagging something. I'm sure you pick up a few here and there, but I don't think that's where, it's definitely not how I build up my audience or put too much, you know, focus on. For me, like hashtagging, I'm working on a project now on Instagram called Lunch with a Photographer, and it's really, I don't normally do projects like this, but I just kind of had this idea because I like to eat and I like to hang out with photographers and I like to take photos of food and portraits, so I figured I'd put it all together, and I started this series where I meet up with a photographer and talk about photography and their business or whatever they do in the realm of photography, and then take a photo of them and then take a photo of what they ate for lunch. And the best way to really organize that whole thing is with a hashtag, so like you can search lunch with a photographer, but it's never, I like things that are kind of clean and neat, and it's not clean and neat because other people have already started using that hashtag probably to, you know, to pick up some extra likes and views and whatever. It's fine, but you know, not all those photos are mine. But that's when will use hashtag for like a project like that. I mean, if I hashtag a food photo, like hashtag food, I mean, no one's going to see that because there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people hashtagging food. I guess if you have something very specific, like you eat at like you know, Motorino Pizza in Brooklyn, and you hashtag Motorino Pizza, a small percentage of people will be hashtagging that specific hashtag, and some people will see it and see your photo, but how many people are really going to see that? Am I right, Hawk? Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think the question in terms of how do you build a larger audience without hashtagging, above and beyond, apart from hashtagging, you know, I think there are a couple of ways to build audiences. And, you know, one way, and, you know, this is pretty basic, is just reciprocity. I mean, yeah. You know, people, if you interact with other people, they will interact with you. It just, you know, that's what happens. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like necessarily that answer because it means, oh, geez, now I got to go do this work and look at these other people's photos and I got to like their stuff. I think other people I'll talk to will say, oh, well, I don't give out likes ever, and I'm very, very picky. And, you know, my philosophy is, you know, there are millions of great photos that come on the web every day, and just to liberally, you know, let people know you like it. You know, reach out and touch someone.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I think just using it a lot, and not just reciprocity, like you said, but just being on there and posting and being active. I think being active is a super important thing. As you said, there's such a short shelf life for an image, which is unfortunate, but it's true. Like even on Instagram, I post a photo and you know, I might get a really nice interaction and people will like it, but then it's dead after that. Like it's pretty much like maybe when I get a new follower, someone will go back into my stream and look at a photo, but you know, and maybe like it, but very rarely. It's really like an instant thing. It's right then and now.
Yeah, I think the word social, we need to be social, and especially if somebody's asking a question on your post, keep an eye on it and be kind
Yeah.
and answer back. That's real important. But other things that you can do too is, join some communities, or like for instance, there's a huge community, landscapes in Google Plus that Jay and Verena Patel have put together. And just by, participating in a few of those, you're going to get a wider audience. And then some people will like your stuff, and if you share, it's all about being social. So really
Yeah, I
believe in
would say also reach out to some photographers that you admire and that you like. And if you're not getting that sort of interaction on your stream, interact on theirs.
right.
Talk to them, ask them questions, talk to other people, respond to people on their threads. And after a while, because a lot more people might be looking at that, and people will say, oh, well, that person just asked a really intelligent question or made an insightful comment, and so I'll check out their stuff, and they'll click.
Right.
I do think that the number one way on any of the networks to build the largest followings possible is to really be promoted by those networks. And whether that's with Flickr through something like Explore, or whether that's the Instagram suggested user list or the Google Plus list. I mean, one of the reasons why I have as many followers as I do on Google is because of the suggested user list. And so when a company, and this is again back to working with these companies, I think you want to be involved with them when they're just starting out, when they're young. You might want to even get to know the employees, and I remember at least with Google. I mean, and I've been a huge Google Plus fan and a huge Google fan in general, but I was using Google Buzz very heavily, probably more than any other photographer before Plus even came out, and that had allowed me to meet a lot of different Googlers and talk to them even before it was released. And Daniel, I know you've made friends with some of the people on the Instagram team, and we went down there together one day. And I mean, to the extent that you're promoted by the network, that can be bigger than anything at all.
Right. I mean, obviously that's a huge thing. But another way, to build an audience is to go to meetups. Like Instagram meetups are huge.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I first really got into the Instagram community, was going to some of those meetups and meeting with these other photographers or Instagrammers and hanging out with them. And you build an audience slowly just from hanging out with those guys and from taking pictures of each other and being featured on their stream, and you feature them on your stream, and they get followers, and it's just you're kind of you're developing like a network together, and you're building up your audience like that. So that I'd say, like we were saying, it's really good to actually chat and leave messages on your photo stream, but physically to be there and hanging out with these people is really good as well.
Yeah, another fun thing too is there's daily themes that happen. So, Throwback Thursday and stuff like
Right.
that, Macro Monday. Just start participating in some of those things, and you'll start getting a bigger audience because people start recognizing your work and who you are.
Yeah,
I've never done a Throwback Thursday. Have you, Hawk?
I never have, no. But I've done some of the themes. I do sometimes. I kind of do my own thing, and just kind of post my own stuff rather than do that. But the point is, if you're trying to build a following, I think to Laurie's point, I mean, you and I already have followings in a way, but if you're really in the process of building it and you don't want to hashtag the crap out of everything, what are some of the things you can do? And so I think, joining communities, getting involved with daily themes, certainly reciprocity, interacting with other people, finding photographers that you admire and interacting with them, particularly on their streams where there's a larger audience reading the stuff maybe. Social events, like you said, Smoothie, I think those are, I went to Flickr meetups really early on, and there's
Right.
something about meeting someone in person that really changes the dynamic than just knowing them online.
And I think probably the most important thing of building to the answer to this question is to take really good photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that goes without saying. I mean, I think.
Well, it does, but some people, they might not focus on that enough. And an example was me with Instagram. When I first joined Instagram, and I still know I know some amazing photographers who use Instagram, but they're not really posting their professional work on there. They're posting like just crappy photos that they're not paying attention to, and they just a quick snapshot of this is what I'm doing today. And that's how I started doing it too. So I was posting crappy photos at first until, again, I saw that all these people that I was friends with were getting like these amazing gigs and being flown around the world. And that's when I started taking better photos, posting better photos on Instagram. So, I mean, it is important. It's something that, you know, maybe people don't think about as much. Obviously, you know, you want your photos to be good, but...
The other thing I would add to that, Daniel, is... you know, I think a lot of people kind of use their social networks just as kind of dumping grounds for all kinds of just crap stuff.
Right.
You know, whether it's links or dumb, stupid memes, or, you know, they're just all this, you know, oh, well, that's a funny joke, or, and if you're not a photographer and you're just sharing it with your brother and your sister and a few friends, I think that's fine, like on Facebook. But if you are a photographer and you're really looking to promote your work, I think you need to think about the fact that there are going to be people that are seeing your work, and they're going to see that, and it's really going to turn them off.
Right. I would say that, and also don't post other people's photos. I mean, once in a while you can, but like just post your, if you're a photographer or interested in photography or want to build your, you know, social network, post your own photos, yeah, and don't post. I can't stand when people post like crappy memes. That's actually one of my biggest issues with Google Plus is half of my stream is filled with these ridiculous, stupid posts. Same with Facebook too, but I don't know.
You're following the wrong people.
I haven't spent enough time filtering. I guess
Right.
I need to filter. Like what I would prefer on, at least on Google Plus, is really just to see some quality photos.
Right.
When I'm flipping through, but a lot of it is just crap.
Yeah,
Some
another
I'm
tip
sorry.
I give people with that is if you have to post like some really stupid thing, just make it for like friends and family only.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
The other thing too is, you know, some basic stuff. Make sure that you have a nice profile pic of yourself, a nice banner cover, you know, for your page, and
Yeah.
you know, switch out that banner cover, you know, maybe once every week or once every month.
So you think
Switch it out?
I do. I think switching out because people, maybe not your picture because people start identifying you,
Right.
but switching out that cover photo is great. In fact, on several of the companies I've worked for, we'd switch out the banner page, and that was one of the biggest hits that we'd get. You know,
Huh.
people liking that particular banner page because you want to put a really nice one up there.
Right.
Definitely.
Does Google Plus like alert people that follow you? So and so's like has a new photo, or do you see it in your stream that so and so's uploaded a new banner photo?
Yeah. Yeah, and Facebook too. You can see that as well.
I know Facebook. Yeah, I know Facebook does, but I guess
Yeah, I think it's
now I'm gonna have to go change my banner photo later.
Yeah, me too.
But another point back to, you know, placing beautiful photos on your social media sites. What I love doing is seeing a stream of images, and I can pick out Thomas. I usually can right away. I know it's a Thomas Hawk, or, you know, I can see these things. I start identifying with these people and their photography. So it's so important to really enhance your images, get them, you know, beautiful ones that are up there. I'm a believer of, you know, you don't have to do full res in case you're afraid of somebody stealing it. But why not show who you are and your best work? And that's where you're going to get people coming back to you asking, hey, can I buy a print? You know, who is this person? So don't post junk. Just put up your beautiful work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stealing photos and all that, I did say we would talk just briefly. We're not going to turn this into a huge debate, but about watermarking images and signatures. I'm a huge critic of that practice. I mean, I think that hurts you in social media because, you know, I think there's a lot of people that are really turned off by it, and it looks garish. And I know this is just my own opinion, though. I mean, I generally speaking don't follow a lot of people because they do that.
Okay.
But Laurie, I know you obviously feel different. So
yeah, I do, and I totally respect your opinion. I think there's two schools of thought here. One of them is, for instance, Facebook does strip out all of the data out of your photo. So if somebody was going to take my photo and post it up on their wall, there's no way that somebody could say, oh, that's Laurie's picture. So if you have a nice, tasteful, small watermark on the bottom, of course they can crop it out, but it's another way of identifying whose photo it is. So for me personally, I choose to put a little watermark on it.
Well, I'm more on Thomas's side with this one. I probably learned this from being friends with Thomas Hawk. I think it's important to, especially if you're starting out, to try to get your photos out as much as possible not just about watermarks, but another example is just people saying, "Oh, I want to feature your photo on my blog." I think there's people out there like people maybe trying to become photographers where they demand payment for that. Chances are a lot of these blogs don't have money to pay you, but it's just going to be a little bit more exposure for you, so you might as well just give them the image, let people use the images. I almost always do, depending on what image it is. If it's an image of like a child that I photographed at a wedding, I'm probably going to say no because I need to check in with the parents and I just don't have time for that. But if it's one of my like food photos, I'll probably just say yes, just use it. I think the more you're out there, the better it is for your business and for your social network platforms. And as far as the watermarks, I don't like looking at photos with watermarks. My eye immediately goes to that watermark, and that's like one of the first things I see when I see an image. And I just want to look at photography. I don't want to look at people's watermarks. And I guess the thing is I think it's a little, I don't know how to say it, but I think people are being a little too egotistical, thinking that all of their images are going to be stolen and used. I've had plenty of my images stolen and used. I've had some shitty experience. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry. Is that okay? Yeah. I've had some bad experiences where people have stolen my images, but if I spent time trying to track down people who are taking my images and using them, like, I would lose money that I'm making as a photographer and business, building my business. It's like you got to keep going forward and not really worry about that. Obviously, if I saw like a huge company like Chanel stole one of my photos of a woman at a wedding or something like that and was on a billboard, I would probably follow up about that and get some money from them and hire a lawyer. But in general, I think it's a little too egotistical thinking everyone's going to want to steal my photos. Just put your photos out there and make good photos and concentrate on that, and don't worry about, there's so many photos out there right now. It's not like it used to be 25 years ago. And there's just millions of photos being posted on all these networks every single day. I just don't think it's that necessary to worry about your images and your copyright. That's just my opinion. Of course, there's going to be a lot of photographers who strongly disagree with me, but
I just want to say one last thing. I think it's also about branding. So somebody who's starting out and they're not, a Daniel or a Thomas, and they want to promote their work, having a nice, tasteful watermark is also a way to help brand yourself. But that's just another way of looking at it. Besides, people stealing your images.
It is, yeah. I just tend to try to bury as much of that work as possible and just never look at it. Because it's just such a turnoff for me. So, my concern, if I were to do that on my work, would be there'd be a lot of people that would just immediately unfollow me or would never be involved with my stuff. And I don't know. That's just. I'm pretty loose with all my stuff, and I kind of don't care if people quote steal it. Like Daniel said, if United Airlines is using it on a billboard, that's one thing. But my work has been on probably, I don't know, certainly thousands of times on other sites, blogs, news sites, all that stuff. And I license all my stuff, Creative Commons, non-commercial, and put full high-res photos up and just really make it really easy for everybody. And I just don't care about it. So
okay,
that's me. So, but there's different opinions on that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question. How do you determine? This is from Eric Traub. How do you determine the frequency at which you post to various outlets? What frequency do you employ with each? We talked about this a little bit, not getting too much into it. Personally, I post somewhere between 3 and 5 photos a day, I would say, on Google Plus and Facebook. And Flickr, I post them in batches. I post more there because that's really where I'm building my archive of my work. And I have a lot of unpublished work. I have probably 30,000 photos that are unpublished. And so I'll publish 15 in the morning at Flickr and 15 at night. So twice a day I publish at Flickr. And I probably publish to Instagram most days, anywhere from 1 to 3 photos. 500
up your Instagram game, Hawk.
Yeah, I know. I got to get more into Instagram. I'm really behind on that. But what about you, Daniel? How much? What do you post? How much to each?
So Instagram, I post about 2 to 3 photos a day. Once in a while I'll post like 1 or 2, but pretty much every day I'm posting something to Instagram. I think someone might have asked, I don't know if this is part of this question, but I think it's important, the timing. As I said earlier when we started talking, I think it's important to post when your audience is really active. So generally I feel like that's between like 11 o'clock a.m. and like, you know, maybe 7, 8 p.m., somewhere in there. Like, I don't usually post anything at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, first of all,
New York time you're talking, East Coast.
New York, I'll tell you.
Right.
Is there another time besides New York time?
Yes.
No, there's not. I don't post anything at like 7 o'clock in the morning. First of all, I don't wake up anywhere near 7 o'clock in the morning, so that's one of the reasons. But I just think, so in New York, there's not everyone's up that early, and then if you're talking about California, then it's 3 hours behind that, so people are definitely not up then. And it's just your photos are going to get buried by everybody else that's going to start posting around 9, 10, 11 o'clock. So like that's why I usually start to post something maybe around 10, 11 a.m., maybe around noon. You know, every day is different for me. I don't have a 9 to 5 schedule. I might have a photo shoot in the morning. I might not have a photo shoot till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And in that case, I can sit around and think more about this and what I'm going to post. And then, you know, to the other ones, again, I said the thing I love about Instagram is I can post one photo to Instagram, it goes right to my Twitter account, to my Flickr, and to my Facebook. I have it all. And I also have a Tumblr account that I set up recently just for food photos. So also, anyone who's listening that wants to, can I mention my Instagram handle, Hawk?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's at Daniel Krieger, DanielKrieger, at Daniel Krieger is my Instagram handle.
Okay.
You know, I might post like 1 or 2 at some of the other websites during the day. Like
okay,
Flickr.
we're going to try to go through this pretty quick, but Daniel, Laurie, I'll share a couple as well, but let's pull up and screen share a couple social media sites live and just go over some of the highlights. There are things that you do that you think are important on these sites to promote your work.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, Hawk, do you want to just pull mine up for me? I was having trouble with it before.
You're too lazy to pull it up?
All right, let me see here.
Which one do you want to look at?
I guess we'll just, well, I don't know, you want to pull up my Instagram?
All right. Well, now we're looking at it on the web, so that's also very different than the phone, right? But that's okay.
It is different.
Okay, so here's Daniel's Instagram. So I've got my mouse there, which I hope people can see. So what would you point out on this page, Daniel, that's working for you?
You know, I mean, I again, it's different looking at it here than on the regular page, but I mean, I guess the thing that's important to me is to the quality of the images and the consistency. Like I really don't post a photo unless I think it's like a good quality image.
Yeah, I would say that's true of your stuff. It's all, you look at this page and everything, it looks really good.
So thank you. I mean, like, you know, I take crappy photos every once in a while, but I'm not going to post them on Instagram. So I'll be out with people sometimes, and everybody will be taking a photo of something, and I might take a photo, and they're like, "Are you going to post that?" And if I just don't think it's like the quality that I want to represent my work on this page, I won't end up posting it. So I can be pretty picky about that. So, you know, I think that's important. This guy's, you see the guy in front of the van?
Yeah. So here you're pandering to the people that work at Instagram, right?
Well, Tyson doesn't work there anymore, but I don't know if I would use the word pandering.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
You know, part of the way I built up the following that I have is by interacting with these people and hanging out with them and going to these meetups. And, you know, I got, again, like you said, me and you, both of us got to go out to the Instagram and Facebook headquarters and meet these guys. So, you know, like when some of them come to town, I might shoot them an email and be like, hey, do you want to go grab coffee or do you want to grab a drink? Tyson, actually, he modeled for me a little bit for a photo shoot I was doing for Food and Wine that's, I think, coming out in the next issue. So, you know, like that's a great way to kind of incorporate someone like that is use them as a model for a shoot, and hope, I'm not gonna beg him to mention it, but when it comes out, he might be interested. If he does make the magazine, he might like Instagram that or tweet it out, and that's even, that's more people that are gonna be like, oh, cool, look at this shot of Tyson that Daniel Krieger took. So, hey, anyone who's watching this or listening, if Thomas Hawk's doing a photo walk in San Francisco, it's a cool thing to go get a good photo of Thomas Hawk, and maybe he'll post it on his Google Plus, and you're going to get new followers that way. Or maybe you'll get an amazing photo, and someone will be like, "Hey, that's a great fucking portrait of Thomas Hawk. I need headshots."
Here he goes with the language again, kid.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to share just some of my stuff really quickly and just talk about Twitter has a new page design. I don't know if everybody has that or not, but I love it and think that it's worth making sure that you upgrade to it. You get this nice big photo up here. You can pin things at the top of your Twitter now. So like we're broadcasting live now, and I have a pin to that so that anybody that goes to my Twitter page will see that. So I think that's I think maximizing that and doing what you can. Twitter also, I post stuff to Twitter every day. I post stuff to all of these every day. Here's on my Flickr, my profile on my Flickr. Again, here I've got all the links to my other sites, to Facebook, to Flickr, to About Me, to Stocksy, to Instagram, to YouTube, to Twitter, SmugMug, 500px, Google Plus. So I've got all sort of those in there. I've got a little bio. I use the same avatar everywhere, the buddy icon, and I haven't changed it in a long, long time.
I think that's cool. I think then people, that's what they recognize, and that's how they know you,
They do, yeah. I think that's branding, and so I think that's important. I think a lot of people change their stuff all the time. I post regularly, so I always have fresh images.
Hey, I was with you for that hell photo.
You were right there, yeah. So, and I think that I try to mix it up a lot. So myself, I don't post a lot of shots of the same thing all at once, unless it's an event like I'm covering, like when I shot Coachella. There's Lana Del Rey. When I shot Coachella, I posted a bunch of up because it was timely. But in general, I try to mix it up. And here's a picture of a car, and here's a picture of a hotel, and a picture of a painting, and a picture of architecture, and of a raccoon with a knife, and all that stuff.
Do you think your followers like the variety of images that you're posting?
I do, yeah. I do. I think that it's more interesting to people.
Laurie, what do you think? Do you think that some people? Well, because for me on my Instagram, I do post a lot of food photos, and I feel like that's what people have come to know me for. That they like to come to my stream to see photos of food.
I'm nature and wildlife, so that's mainly what I post as well, and that's what people expect. If I try to post something different, I usually don't get as much feedback or comments. So
what do you think about that, Hawk? Because I feel the same way with Instagram.
Personally, I'd like to see more selfies of you.
And my cat.
And your cat, and Mr. Mingus, of course. Yeah, I'm surprised we don't have more selfies. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think both of you are right. I think if there's a niche or something that you do, and you've built an audience around that niche, and people really like it, if I started posting different stuff in a way that kind of wasn't what people were expecting from me, that might be a turnoff. And same way with you, Smoothie. If you started posting like selfies of you in a Speedo and on a regular basis and stuff, that might scare people away. It
would scare me away.
Hey, Thomas. Sorry. I was just going to ask if I could show something on Google Plus that's pretty cool. A nice little feature.
Yeah, let's hear. So I'm on Google Plus right now. I've got my page up there. What's the feature?
Well, actually, go ahead and click on a picture.
Okay, so Laurie, here's Laurie's Google Plus. You go ahead and do it. You're driving.
Okay, I'll go ahead and share. Let's see here. So we've got this. So I'm going to go over here, and again, switching out the banner is kind of a cool thing. I'm going to go to an image that I posted today. Do you see this white-faced?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I like to do is I like to add just a little paragraph, not too much, because if you get too big, then people don't want to read it, but just something, a little bit of background about it. And then what's really nice about Google Plus is they've got this photos details. So once you click on the photo, you can expand the section, And then you can see all the details. So if you want to see what camera I shot and what ISO and exposure, etc., you can look at that data, and it's a really good teaching thing as well. So if you have somebody you're following, you can look at their data, and that's actually stripped
it also
out.
has a view count in there that people don't realize. I think that there's a view counter on all photos at Google Plus.
That's right, which is pretty cool. I've been astounded by some of the views. But yeah,
17,000 views.
That was from this morning. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. I love that about Google Plus.
And Google just recently added the total views for all of your stuff since you've been on Google Plus, right?
Yes, they have.
Go to the top of your page and show people that.
Yeah, that's pretty astounding there.
Wow, that's 133 million views.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple other questions here. People want to know if I'm growing a Terminator on my wall. Michael Bonacore submitted that one. That's the top question right now. I guess I'm talking about this.
I was gonna say I thought you were building a bomb. I wasn't gonna say anything while we were on the air, but why don't you cover that up next time, Hawk?
People always ask about that. This is my home network, and I had this plate that went over it. If you see that, so it was covered, but the problem is when the Wi-Fi router is in that box, it doesn't go in the house.
All right, I think we could probably move on to the next question.
All right, so
we only got a couple minutes left.
Right. So, anyways, but yeah, we had to address that one.
Okay, I saw a good question that I want to mention from Alan Morris.
Okay.
It was, how does your writing enhance your storytelling? Is writing necessary to photo storytelling? So obviously I can barely read myself. I think that's an interesting question. We were kind of touching on that before, and that is something I do think about. As I said, my descriptions are pretty short, but I'm kind of I don't know. I want to hear what you guys have to say first, and then I'll add in. But I think that is a good question.
On the storytelling?
Yeah, like, well, Hawk? Well, you don't really storytell in your photos, do you, Hawk?
Yeah, I don't a lot, no. I mean, I think it's all about the image. I do sometimes. I have a $2 portrait series where people ask me for money.
Right.
I give them $2 to make a portrait, and sometimes I'll write up just a little bit about that experience and who this person is, because I think that's an important background for people to have. And I know Laurie puts stuff up, it looks like, on a lot of her photos, not just a short, brief thing.
No, and I think the title makes it too. It can make a photo. Really clever title. Yeah.
I guess I think, yeah, and like I said before, a lot of times I just say like Brooklyn, New York, or Sunset at Brooklyn. Part of it is I just don't have time to sit there and write a whole description about what I'm doing or what I'm thinking. And same for you, Hawk, if you're posting as many photos as you are, it's kind of hard for you to come up with. You title a lot of your things with song titles or lines from songs, right?
Well, a lot of musical artists get their lyrics from my photos. It's the way that I like to look at it.
I think it's important. I think you should use it sparingly. I think once in a while it's nice to write a little something, especially if it's something really emotional to you. If you go into my Instagram stream, you'll see some photos of my grandmother. And whenever I post a photo of my grandmother, I almost always tell a story, because she always has these amazing stories every time I see her. And she's 96 years old, and she still remembers, she remembers things from 70, 80 years ago, and she'll tell me a story from back then, like the first time she ate Chinese food, 65 years ago with my grandfather. She remembers that, and I'll write a little something about that. But I think if you overwhelm your viewer with too much storytelling, you're going to miss out on a lot of people. I think this generation, it's the Instagram, Twitter generation, where they don't really want to read a lot. They just want to look at something real quick, maybe read a line or two and be done with it.
Hey, so Thomas, since we're getting to the end, I think we have a giveaway.
Oh, we do have a giveaway. Yes, we are at the end here. So this giveaway, let's see, where should we have them post the answer to this?
How about on the event page where everybody?
On the event page. Okay, so for everybody who's watching, let's see, where is the event page?
Should be on yours under events.
Yes, that's right. I should know what I'm doing here more. events. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm a huge fan of MacFun's FX Photo Studio Pro. It's a great effects package, and I love it. I use it a lot. And so MacFun is going to give away a copy of this today. We're going to give away this to one of the people that is watching live now. So the way to win this is to be the first person to list how many followers, the number of followers Daniel Krieger has on Instagram, and post it as a comment in the event page. Whoever gets that number right is the winner. Do we have a winner yet? No. Let's see. How many followers does Daniel Krieger have on Instagram?
I know.
You know.
You can't participate.
Whoever gets that answer first gets a free copy of FX Photo Studio Pro. And you have to post it on the event page, which is here. Let's find this.
Share that.
Screen share. This is the event page here. So whoever posts it to this page first will win a copy of the software. And we still don't have an answer. Maybe nobody knows.
Huh.
It's a hard question, isn't it?
That's a good one. Okay.
Okay, we have some answers. Oh, here they come in. So 70,889. Is that right, Smooth Dude?
Sounds right.
All right. Thomas McGovern is the winner. Thomas McGovern. So we can see that in the event page. So Laurie, you'll connect up with Thomas.
I will.
Now it's 70,891, but whoever.
Somebody added, or somebody dropped, one way or the other, huh?
Wait, what was it before?
I don't. I lost that page now. It was 70,000. 889.
Yeah, I just went up a couple from this. Good job, Huck. We should do this all day long.
All right. Well, there's another way to get new followers, right? Is have your Instagram feed be a contest on the internet.
There you go.
That is a good way.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think this has been a good discussion. Laurie, thanks to you and to MacFun for putting this together and for the prize giveaway for sure. And it was a good time and a good conversation. We'll post this on YouTube as well, this video. So if anybody does have additional questions, feel free to leave it in the comments on YouTube, and we'll try to come back and answer after the fact.
Great.
All right. And with that, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thanks, guys.
And with that, thanks much, and we'll see you online.
Great. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.